Now, banks and building societies will offer more flexibility to struggling mortgage holders as rates soar.
The move comes after bank bosses met the Chancellor Jeremty Hunt in Downing Street yesterday. The promises include being able to make temporary changes to your mortgage terms for 6 months.
So, as a new survey says, a quarter of middle-class parents are stepping in to help their kids pay their mortgages. Just how helpful will these measures be? Well, property expert Jonathan Rolande can join us now and just explain what some of these measures are, Jonathan.
Yes, good morning, Esther. They're going to come as a great relief to many people, I think. We've got 3 measures. We've got the ability to speak to banks without threatening your credit score, so you can be honest with them and you can tell them that, times are tough and what are your options, and they'll talk to you and hopefully be very helpful without it impacting in the future. The second point is that you can then swap your mortgage from a repayment. Now, just to clarify, that's where you have the mortgage and you pay not only the interest on the loan, but you're also slowly, over normally 25 or 30 years, paying down the capital that you borrowed as well. So at the end of the term, you have no mortgage left. Well, you're going to be able to change that to an interest-only mortgage, and that will then reduce payments on average by a couple of £100 a month, which will really absorb quite a lot of the recent increases that we've seen. The third point is that if people are really struggling, banks won't step in to repossess until a year has passed from the initial difficulties. So we've got 3 really important points that are going to be very useful, unfortunately, to many people who do need them.
Jonathan, I can see that they're going to provide some instant relief for homeowners, and I'm sure lots of people will take up these opportunities. But is this actually a solution to the problem? Is it not just kicking the can further down the road and that we're just going to store up exactly the same problems, just either a few months or a couple of years down the road?
Well, that's the gamble that Jeremty Hunt has taken. I think in many ways he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. He can't put more money back into our pockets because that will fuel inflation. So interest rates have risen, that's the fact of things, but he can't, or felt he couldn't, and I think most property people agreed with him, start helping people with his mortgages in the way that they did, for example, with wages during COVID. There's just not enough taxpayers' money left anyway, even if they wanted to. Debt is, for the country, let alone mortgage payers, is at an all-time high and costing more as well. So his options were limited, but I think that this will be a big relief to people who really need it. So it's quite targeted relief, which I was very pleased to see, rather than a sort of scattergun approach that helps everybody and in the end helps nobody.
Jonathan,
the sad fact is that...
you're a property expert.
Sorry.
Where is this going to leave the property market?
Well, the property market is floundering at the moment. Now, this will help. The reason for that is that if we can avoid mass repossessions, as we saw back in the 90s, prices will be sustained. So if that's what you want, this is good news. But basically, what happened in the past was that you'd have a street of houses, all with a certain value, and they'd be selling and buying, people would be buying them and selling them. A property in the middle of a terrace, for example, might be repossessed. And much as people say it shouldn't happen, it does. It's a fire sale. And that property then gets sold at a lower market value than the rest of the neighbours, and so drives prices down in that street. Now, that can be the catalyst to a sort of snowball effect where we just end up with spiralling prices going down and down and down. Well, that, by the sound of things, has been avoided. But
well, then that's good
famously,
news, because nobody wants to know their house prices are going to fall down. So this intervention could be good then, as you say, for everybody.